Welcome back as we start the final unit of the first semester, Unit 5. Hopefully everything's going well for you. Want to get you to the slide deck so that we can take a look at it. Of course, this is our Canvas page, and you can access all of the slides off of here. Unit 5 is Systems of Linear Equations and Inequalities. It's our last unit dealing with linear. And then, of course, we start next semester with the quadratics. So Unit 5 is a pretty important unit. It has a lot of content that it's a little bit different. So here we go. TEKS covering unit. There are one essential readiness standard. It's A2I, writing a system of two linear equations given a table of values, graph, and verbal. A5C is also a readiness standard, solving those two linear equations for the two variables. And then three supporting, 3F, 3G, and 3H. And those are the 5 TEKS that comprise Unit 5. Unpacking the TEKS, of course, are documents that you would use coming from TRS. A2I, writing the system of equations, the important content knowledge that the students need to have. What are systems, linear equations, table of values, graph, and verbal. And then the skills that are involved will be using slope-intercept form, slope formula, and point slope formula to write systems of equations. And sometimes those systems will also come at us in standard form. So a little additional information, some example problems here, and then, of course, some recently tested problems. This is a heavily assessed area, A2I, 11 times in the last 6 years, so roughly almost 2 times per year. You can see here, A5C, solving those system of two linear equations. Predominantly we solve by graphing, but the actual TEK, I believe, or the involvement, you should be solving by substitution as well as algebraically using elimination. So those should all get taught, although I think technically on the STAR assessment you can survive simply by solving by graphing and finding the intersecting point, or if they're parallel lines, no solution, or if they're the same line, of course, multiple solutions or all solutions. So showing you this, some unpacked examples there, some of the most common questions from 2023 for 5C. 3F, graphing the systems of two linear equations, which is one technique to solving. Examples there. This is graphing systems of inequalities, which is an interesting one because, it's where your shading overlaps or intersects at. So this can be a little bit of a challenge to teach, but it also can kind of be fun. Example there, 3G, estimating graphically the solution to a system of two linear equations. Kind of an odd TEK to me because we're actually doing that anyway when we're doing the solving, but whatever. Show an example there. 3H, graph systems of inequalities. And of course, the examples there. Data-wise, I will need to put in the 2024 STAR, so I will put that down as a note to myself. But this has been an area that we haven't scored particularly well in. Again, second quarter has been kind of a challenge for us to teach and have student success. So something to address there. We've got some work to do. Vocabulary involved, common misconceptions, things that our students will do to get problems wrong. Vertical alignment, this does have a consistency, our essential readiness, A2I, with 8A, and also 710A and 69A. You can see down at the bottom how the problems just kind of continue to develop for student work on this. So anyway, I'm a little bit dismayed that question that looks down at the bottom there under 8A, that actually looks to me like it might be an algebraic question. So again, I'll have to do a little checking on this to make sure that it is correct. Hopefully I'll catch these things and you won't see them. Instructional strategies, we are recommending a blended instruction day on December 11th using a choice board, a win, whatever student needs. Intervention day on December 11th using some intervention strategies. Language support, you can see there the sentence stems that we provide you with. Our resource showcase is actually using Desmos again. And I know that I like Desmos a lot, and some of you have your misgivings there, but I want to just showcase this particular Desmos again because of the power that it gives you. And my apologies, I'm doing this in the summer months, so accessing these is a little bit of a challenge, but the system of two linear equations here, you can see the screens for the slides down here. It basically gives you a warm up. Is it possible for two numbers to have a difference of 8, a sum of 1? Then we're starting to write those things. Let's dig into this. Type larger the number, difference of 8, the other number, numbers as points, graphing it now, and now all of a sudden we're trying to work toward a solution in that. So it's a good progression. I happen to like it for this particular system of two linear equations. And this is one that I think I did some editing on and beg borrowing and stealing from another educator. So you can use this though. The nice part is you can use this as your instructional piece, as well as your introduction, your warm up, your instructional piece. And then you get to a point where you say, okay, you know what? It's time for the students to have their part of the deal. And so maybe starting around slide 14, that becomes your assignment or your activity portion for your students with a possible closure or check for understanding, on slide 20 or 21. So it's got enough there that you can utilize it in many, many different ways. And that's particularly why I chose this one for you to take a look at. So interventions, as we mentioned, there is a win day here. I chose the Khan Academy for the win day, again, because the Khan Academy has the instructional component. So, it allows you to teach from it in a small group, a large group, but it also allows you to say to the student, you work through it while I am doing some other things. So it's got some flexibility there because it can be used as a self-directed piece, I guess. The extension there. This is, of course, our last unit of quarter 2. So you can see it extends us into December, and then we will do our summative assessment. And of course, the folks that you can give us a contact, and if you have any questions, concerns, thoughts, some of you are really good at that, and I do appreciate it. I know sometimes some of you think maybe I'm intruding a little bit too much on that person's turf or what have you. I don't see it that way at all. I work for you. So if there's question, concern, thoughts, clarifications, mistakes, by all means, reach out. Have a great one. Good luck.